Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Africam show. As usual, I'm so glad to be here with you. I love spending time with all of you, and we are super excited because this is a new camera for us. Now, this is the Hoedspruit Endangered Wildlife Center. Kind of call it the HESC-CAM, and here we can see that we're looking at some rhinos. Yes, we are. There's about 6 rhinos in this boma, and I think they're all here. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but there might be a sneaky one behind them as well. We are very thrilled to have this camera on board. This is thanks to Explore as well. And we get to spend time watching these wonderful white rhino. And there are, of course, rescues. Anyway, we can chat more about them. I'm just really excited that we get to see rhinos on the cameras. A lot of the different cameras that we have across Africa, we don't show rhinos, and that's because of their own protection. We wouldn't want to give away where rhinos are in the wild, just in case there's people who would use that information for nefarious activities. So we try to protect them, but what's lovely about this cam is that we can watch them because they're being protected all the time and they're rescues and they're in a safe space, and that makes my heart happy. Now, there is another lodge where we also can see rhinos. I think it's Founders, which is also pretty new. But here we get to really get into white rhinos. We get to see them regularly. This is their boat, and this is where the camera is mounted. So I hope that you're all as excited as I am to see these rhinos. The movement of the rhinos are not matching my excitement, but it's okay. We can all be excited together. Prairie Dog, hi, you say you love the new camera. It's just wonderful. This is the first time I'm seeing the new camera. I did hear about it, but this is the first time I'm seeing it, so I'm really, really excited. Zygote, you say namaste, namaste to you too, Zygote. Bridget McKenney is here, and she says hi, Trishala. Hi, Bridget. Grumpy Old Man says it's her, Trishala. It's me, Trishala, and it's you, Grumpy Old Man. Thank you for joining us. Glenda Newman Craft is here as well. She says hello from Indiana. Oh, and it's April Owl. You say good morning, everyone, sitting with your cherry iced tea in sunny Connecticut, eagerly awaiting the show. Nice. I've got some boring green tea. I do actually like it though. I'm a little nasally today. I've been very hay fevery today, so lots and lots of sneezing and itchy eyes. So a nice warm drink is very helpful, especially since I don't want to be sneezing talking to all of you. Bird Book, you say hi, Trishala. Hi, Bird Book. Monica says good morning from Montana. You're excited to be here. And Timber Grace. Oh, Timber Grace, I haven't heard your name in a while. Where have you been? You say good morning from snowy Minneapolis. Oh, this is so lovely. So I think this might. So obviously this is the Hoedspruit Endangered Wildlife Center is doesn't just house rhinos. There's also other little animals that hang about. We may be lucky enough to see the rhinos interacting with an Anatolian sheepdog. And I wonder if this is the little paddy sheep, if that was a paddy sheep that came in. I wonder if that's Millie. Oh, my heart. It's like unlikely animal friendships just to the next level. Oh, you're just sharing food. I can't take it. Can't take it. Mary Momo, you say hi, Trish. She's sliding in from Hot Springs, Arkansas with a large yeti of Mountain Valley water. That sounds great. That sounds fantastic. Now, apart from the cuteness, the ohs and ahs, because I'm filled with those. I mean, if you start from the left, we already have this lovely little chonker just sleeping on the side. I think the largest one, I think it's the one on the right. She looks like the largest one. She's Esme. And I'm only just learning about their names at the moment, but I know that Esme is the largest one, and then there's also Bula, I think, which is the second smallest one. See, we need to have them um, all standing together, so we can say who's the biggest and who's the smallest. Thank you, Kirst. That name, my goodness, is so cute. Kirst has just told me that the sheep that walked in, which was clearly not a petty sheep, is named Licorice, which is just adorable. Adorable. And in the excitement, I've forgotten to remind everyone that we're live and interactive. So you're welcome to send us questions and comments. Maybe this is the first time that you're joining us. If you are, we are so glad to have you here. And please send us a little hello. There we go. Hi, Licorice. We don't often get to see sheep popping up on the cam. I love this. I love how Licorice just comes in there, checks out what the rhinos are doing, has a little nibble, and then walks out again. Just adorable. So what I was getting at is that we're going to learn more about who each of the rhinos are. Maybe we'll get better at identifying the specific individuals as well. That would be a lot easier if we're seeing them singly. When in a group, we might be able to use this was the second to small one, or the second to big one. Oh, shame. So sweet. So there's the smallest one. So we know the largest one is Esme, which I think is the one on the right, because I don't see any larger individuals. And the one on the left, which appears to be the smallest one, has the cutest name of all. Its name's Peter. I don't know why it tickles my fancy when animals have such human names. Not even human names, but like an uncle name. You know what I mean? Hi, Peter. So sweet. Hi. My goodness. Absolutely adorable. Okay, so Cuttlefish 45, you'd like to know, are these guys rescues? One of them looks quite scarred. Maybe I'm just not good at seeing things. These are rescues. So basically, the Hoedspruit Endangered Wildlife Center rescues animals. And it's quite typical to see those scratches that you would have noticed on the rhinos' bodies. It's quite typical to see them whether they're in the wild or if they're rescues at a center. And that's a result of, one, just the nature of their skin. You can see that's quite rough, lots of cracks and things in them. And also they're always rubbing themselves on things and each other, and sometimes each other's horns. And so they'll often get these scratches. Rolling Trouble has rolled in. You say hello all from Washington. Hello, Rolling Trouble. Bird Book, you say this is too cute. It is too cute. It's just so lovely to watch Rhino. Not in a defensive manner. They look so relaxed. You can see that they're taken care of. They've got plenty of food. It's just a wonderful thing to witness. Kaoru, you're also asking if they're rescues. Yep, they are rescues. No, they were not pets or in zoos. At least I don't think they were from zoos. But for example, there's a 3-month-old Taba, and he came to the center because his mother was poached. And it's also amazing to watch the bonding and the way that they all have managed to kind of get along. Not that they wouldn't in the wild, but oftentimes in a wildlife center or in an area where rhinos are kept together for protection, you'll find that older females can often kind of adopt young calves, even if they're not their own. And that's kind of what's happened with Esme and the little ones. And they all are orphans. Jive Bunny, you say, hi there, Trish. Hi there, Jive Bunny. You say, you wish you had visited the center when we saw it on your safari trip, but we didn't have enough time. Oh, I do hope that next time that you get down here, you'll have time to visit them too. Yep, I'm getting lots of questions about if they're orphans. Yes, they're orphans, and they've had to be rescued, so they're not in here while mom is somewhere else. They're orphans. Leela Mayo Ohio, you were also asking. Mary Momo, you say, are all rhinos so chill that they wouldn't harm a goat, or is it just this group? It's surprising to me to see goats in their enclosure. Yeah, it is a factor, and it's something you see often, particularly in rehabilitation centers or wildlife sanctuaries, places where animals are cared for, looked after, and rescued, as opposed to just in a wild space where there isn't that kind of interaction with other animals. You see it quite often, and it particularly happens between domestic animals and wild animals, and that's because humans are the people who humans run these centers, right? And humans often have other domestic animals on the property, like dogs or cats or sheep or goats. So you see it often, and that's a matter of them being together for a long time, and then learning to trust the humans and learning that the humans are not a threat, and I guess by extension also learning that those animals that come along with the humans are not a threat either. I'm quite happy to see them, the rhinos that is, get along so well. White rhinos tend to have a better temperament than black rhinos. And in the wild, you might see a mum with her most recent offspring plus her offspring before this. Oh, Peter. Peter's rolled on his side. And though rhinos don't typically live in family groups, so you will see a mother and her offspring, and then potentially the offspring that is her offspring before the current one. So a baby rhino might have a sibling as well with them, and they may form slightly larger groups, like maybe 4. The most rhinos I've seen together is about 6, but they don't live in those family groups. So watching them like this just makes me not know how to talk and go, ooh, so sweet. Bridget McKinney, you say rhinos are magnificent. They definitely are. Oh, where are you going to now? Oh, here comes Licorice. Come on, Licorice. Join the parade. Oh, it's time for a drink. Goodness. April Owl, you say, has the horn been removed? So the horn has been cut. So we call that dehorning, but the horn itself does not get removed. All that happens is that they cut the horn and it looks like a little bit of a stump. Now they might not do that for all the rhinos, but if you saw Esme, the big one, you could clearly see that her horn has just become a stump. Where if we look at this rhino in front of us now, this little one, you can see that he still has his horn. Now they might decide that because the rhinos are in a very safe place. Oh, here comes Peter. Oh my goodness. Okay, I think we need to start a petition for Trishala to visit here in person and come to you in person from this boma. How do we feel about that? I feel excellent about that. Because I can't control myself right now. Peter, you were just too adorable. And Bridget McKenney agrees with me. So if the wildlife center feels that the rhinos are protected enough to not be dehorned, and many reserves feel this way and have excellent security and things like that, then they'll leave the horns. But if they feel that it's just another risk to the rhinos, or potentially even to themselves, as in to the other rhinos, because they are in living closely together, although I doubt it that they will cause damage to each other. Black rhinos, on the other hand, they would. So it's to the discretion of the center. Bird book, you say that this place is on the list of places I would live in if I could. Okay, bird book, let's you and I go into this boma. I would love to see them. Also, as a guide, and I suppose sadly, we don't get to see very many rhinos. And I mean, that's the reason that these kinds of centers exist, because rhino poaching has been rampant over the years. It kind of slowed down over the last 2 years or so, and then it started to pick up again. And places like this are absolutely necessary if we want to conserve the species. Now, South Africa is a stronghold of the white rhino population. And there's something like, I think in South Africa alone, there's about 12,500 white rhinos. And that accounts for a huge percentage of the total number of white rhinos left in the world, which is somewhere between 15 and 17,000. It's pretty difficult to do a thorough count on these animals. So things have gotten better for rhino numbers in recent years, and that's solely because of the hard work of people who run these types of wildlife centers, care for rhinos, care for orphans, but also those people that are involved in anti-poaching. And the population growth really is a result of all those people's hard work. Oh, Kirst, did you write that? So apparently you're saying that Pedi sheep, which is a type of sheep, is a breed that's known for their exceptional maternal skills, which is why they're here, kind of like emotional support sheep. I think that's so helpful. Prairie Dog, you say you would sign my petition? Thank you very much. I'm going to send a petition. I expect all signatures on board that I should be there with the rhinos and have a small mic and everyone can speak. Get some huffs and puffs. Oh, so adorable. Okay, I know that we don't want to pull ourselves away from this camera. I know it. Maybe we'll just wait a few minutes, see what little old Peter does here. I guess he'll just follow the rest. Don't want to have a drink, Peter? Oh, it's fine. Oh, this is nice. There's even a nice little pan for them to wallow in. Now, wallowing is a really important part of of a rhino's day. Just like elephants, we've spoken so much about how elephants are really large, heavy animals. And when you think about white rhinos, you know, a big male could be about 2.5 tons or just under, and a big female can be about 1.5 tons. So that's a really big, compact, heavy body. But in actual surface area, there's not a lot. So they also can overheat. And that's why they're very reliant on ways to cool themselves down. And there's nothing like a muddy pan, is there? I don't know why, but I feel like I'm going to lose my mind when I see Licorice with Peter. Oh, there's one of the petty sheep. Just checking on her babies here. Okay, I can't stop. I really can't stop. All right, let's do it. Let's move across to Olifants River, just so we can have a look, and we will come back here, I promise. Oh, we've got a nice big croc. Just chilling at Olifants River. It's always nice to see a crocodile. I must say my brain is still in rhino mode, but let's switch over to reptile mode just for a little bit. Things are still looking nice and green, which is excellent. Plenty of water here at Olifants River for the crocodiles. I've never seen this river get even close to dry. Not sure if anyone else who's been watching or going to Olifants River for an extended period of time has ever seen that, but I haven't. And that means that it's excellent habitat for crocodiles, or really any semi-aquatic animal, hippos as well. But now it's 23 minutes past 4. It's still pretty hot out there, but there might be a slight chilling in the air as the sun dips a little lower in the sky, which it's tending to do earlier and earlier as we move into autumn and winter, which is not really a thing down here. It's more dry and wet season. That means that a lot more reptiles and small mammals are going to be spending, say, 4:30 to 5:30 doing exactly this, sunning themselves, getting as much of that heat energy as they can. This croc's smiling at us too. Now I wonder if I'm seeing things. Maybe it's just the grass. Maybe it is just the grass. It looked as if this croc had a notch at the end of its tail, but I think it might just be the grass. But if it was a notch, that would be really cool because it would be easier to identify it. No, I think I'm seeing things. I think it's just the grass. How about, I'm not playing favorites, everyone. I'm not playing favorites. And you know, if we see elephants or something else in the camera, of course we'll go to them. But we have more comments and questions coming through for the rhinos, so I think we should go back to the rhino camp. What do you think? I'm not playing favorites, I promise. I am not playing favorites. Let's see if Max will comply, or whether Max prefers the croc. Oh, thank you, Max. So Max is on the other side of the computer. No, not really the other side of the computer, but at the end where he switches the cameras. So thank you, Max, for sending us back over to the Hoodspray Endangered Wildlife Center, or HESC. So Allison, you said emotional support sheep. How utterly adorable. You want an emotional support sheep. So do I. So do I, Allison. And you say, hello, Trish. Happy Tuesday, Allie. I absolutely agree. That would be amazing if we could all have an emotional support sheep. I did irrelevant information, but you know how I like to share that irrelevant information with you. I have a stuffed cow, like a cow teddy, but she's multicolored. And she can sometimes pass, I suppose. Doesn't make up for emotional support sheep, though. So I wanted to come back to this, Cam, because Cuttlefish had an interesting question, interesting thoughts, and this is what I love about doing these shows with you. So we get to have these discussions, and hopefully you get to be as, you know, honest as you want to be in the questions that you ask. I always say there's no such thing as a stupid question. There's just stupid answers. Well, actually, my chemistry teacher used to say that to me. So I love it when you guys send through thoughts, you know, and Cuttlefish has done just this. So Cuttlefish is asking, with regards to the rhino dehorning, you say, when they do this in the wild, oh, hang on, sorry. Do they do this in the wild to make them less of a target for poaching, I suppose you mean? Because you saw a video on YouTube, they did this to make some rhinos less of a target for dangerous dehorning or poaching. They are good people, similar to Explore, and they do everything to conserve every animal. Yes, so the purpose of dehorning is to reduce the likelihood of the animal being poached. So I mean, you know, there's a plethora of problems with poaching. It's there's not a word to describe what an awful, awful act. It's disgusting. But you know, I don't mean this in a good way, but the most terrible thing about poaching is that poachers don't just take the horn. You can't just take a horn from a rhino. You can't just take a piece of a horn from a rhino. They kill the rhino. So the idea is that if you remove the thing that the poachers want, then they'll no longer come. I have not yet seen any kind of paper that deals specifically with the statistics about the number of reserves or individuals that are dehorned and how the effect that has on poaching. But the thought is, and to some degree, it must be effective because many reserves are adopting this kind of plan. It's just like, you know, trying to curb the use of drugs in a city. We know that the drug rings are going to be run by probably influential rich people that you're not going to be able to touch. But what can you do? I mean, as the police, you can go after the people who are selling drugs, right? So in a similar way, you're trying to remove that thing which other people want, which is illegal. You're trying to remove it from the market. And so by cutting off the horn, they are removing the incentive to poach in that particular area. And removing the horn in this way, like we see on Esme, the big one, removing the horn, or shaving it down rather, they're not removing it, the horn is still there. Shaving it down does not hurt the rhino at all. The horn is made out of keratin, so it's the same material as our hair, and it grows very much like our hair. So your hair grows from the root upwards, so all the ends of your hair are very dead. In fact, all your hair is very dead, but the roots are alive. So it's the same with the rhino horn. The base where the rhino is growing out, where the horn is growing out of, is alive, but everything above that is not. It's dead keratin. So they can remove it without causing any kind of pain to the rhino. It's like getting a haircut. But at the same time, it's not done willy-nilly, because we do know that there's still a vascular system at the bottom of that horn where there's growth. And poachers don't really care about that. So often you would have probably seen, awful pictures where there's bloodied faces of rhinos. So the dehorning is done as a way to reduce any incentive to come near our rhinos. Oh, hi Andy, thank you for joining us. Yes, we met Licorice, and then you're just letting us know that the white one is Millie. That was the bigger one that came along a little bit later. Mary Momo, you say, yes, back to the rhinos. Crocs are rad. Oh no, crocs are cool, but rhinos are rad. Now, I wasn't sure on the, the cooler meter where cool was and where rad was, but thank you for clarifying. Now we know that rhinos are rad, which is, at this moment, radder than the cool crocodile, something like that. But Bridget McKinney says she loves her some crocodiles too. Kim Twister, you say you have no sympathy for poachers. It's not just the poachers. It's the people who, it's the market. I don't understand how anybody can feel that they need to so desperately to take something from another animal and take its life for it. DNC has popped by. You say, hi Trishala, very late, but you're here for a little while. Well, you're here just in time because we're just watching and oohing and ahhing at how beautiful these rhinos are. Sleeping so beautifully. We should have... Shame. So sweet. You can actually still see little bits of pinky on this little one on Peter. In the folds. So Peter has a little bit of an interesting story. So yes, we have said that they're all... goodness, I can't think today very quickly. That they're all orphans. There we go. We've said that they're all orphans, but Peter's story is quite interesting because Peter's mother was killed by an elephant as opposed to being killed by poachers. Now, if you watched Wild Moments last Thursday, you would have seen the clip that Mike and I were looking at where the elephant at Old Donyo tasked a giraffe, and the insides were kind of all out, and it happens. And so Peter is a result of one of those very, very natural incidences. Doesn't happen often, but it does happen. And now we have some visitors. Let's try to lower the camera a little bit there. April Owl, you say, so it grows back, the horn? Yes, it does. It grows back. And so if you dehorn rhino, you're going to keep dehorning them. It continues to grow and grow and grow. And it'll also resharpen itself. The edges or the top of it will kind of get worn as they rub themselves and things, and it'll get that pointed shape again. So you have to keep on dehorning. April, you say Peter is so cute. Peter is adorable. Jive Bunny, you want a job at this rescue center? Well, you know what you got to do? You've got to visit first and then ask them about their job openings. It is such a beautiful thing when animals learn to trust that something is not a threat. And we saw a car pull up, so there were people in it. They hardly reacted to it. We saw Millie and Licorice, the sheep, coming through. And there was just complete awareness that those things are not a threat to them. And they're busy chomping away. Now, rhinos are grazers. That's why they have those, oh, I should say white rhinos are grazers. And so what they're eating right now is just perfect for them. Oh, don't fight, guys. There's plenty of grass to go around. Anyway, we think that possibly those people need to do things here. So how about we head over to Tao in the meantime? But, you know, over the days, we'll be spending a lot more time here at the Hesk Cam. But back over now to Tao. Goodness me. How many of you now have like a rhino hangover? That was amazing. That was just, oh, that was lovely. It's going to be my new favorite cam to watch. Oh, things are getting very muddy and sticky here, Tal. The zebras are right in there. Look at this one that's closest to the camera. It's kind of like almost elbow deep in that mud. I've said to you before that elephants are the most fussy when it comes to what kinds of water they want to drink, but and that most other animals are not fussy, but no animal is going to want to drink purely muddy water. So that's why these zebras are moving into this section of the dam as opposed to just drinking from the edge, because if they drink from the edge, that's just mud. They're pretty much going to be slurping up mud like a slushy. It's not going to be very much actual liquid. So they've got to take a few steps in to get to water that is actually watery. And that can be a little bit of a problem for this little baby here. And I wonder if it will get, whether it'll get to drink as well. I hope it does. Oh, Kim Twister, you say prison ponies. Oh, when I said that, the ears went back on this zebra. When they pull their ears back like that, it's kind of like back and down. It can be quite an aggressive display, or not aggressive. Yeah, it could be an aggressive display. But I think when you're still a young little thing, and you're still learning about how your ears are moving and what these different physical cues mean, if they get a little angry or upset, you might see them pulling those faces, pulling those ears. Yep, he looks a little upset. Could it be because he didn't manage to get any water? Grumpy old man, you say you hope they don't get stuck. I know. I hope they don't get stuck too. Oh, look at this. Oh, it's nice. This is so cute, zoomies. Prison pony zoomies. Kim Twister, you say that Madikwe is a beautiful reserve. It is a lovely reserve. It's I mean, obviously, you know, being in the Lowveld and in the Greater Kruger area is my favorite, but I quite like Madikwe too. The vegetation is different. So Tau, the camera that we're looking at now, Tau is in Madikwe, and I find the vegetation is very different. There's lots of shepherd trees. There's lots of sickle bush. See, I told you my brain is bad today. Lots of sickle bush. You're not going to see trees like we do in the Lowveld, but it's got its own charm. And what I love most about Madikwe is that they're brown hyenas, and there was even a brown hyena den that I got to visit and see little cubs. Well, they weren't that little, but they were cubs nonetheless. I've also found that the zebras at Madikwe, or Tau, where we were looking, oh, we're over at Oldonyo now with a zebra with giraffes. Just to complete that thought, I've seen many unique zebras at Madikwe Game Reserve. So if you have time and you're watching the Tau cam, see if you can pick up some unique patterns that'll help you identify zebras. Well, that's nice. We got to hear a little grunt from the giraffe. Now, I wonder if there are some people in the hide here, which is why the giraffe are staring in that direction. Oh, it's nice to hear the giraffes making a sound. For a long time, people thought that giraffes were silent and that the sounds that they were making were limited to kind of grunts and, to an extent, bleats, that kind of thing. So not really the use of vocal cords or folds, but rather, you know, the use of air through nasal passages and the throat. But we now know that giraffes can communicate infrasonically in kind of this hum. But I don't know their exact range, the frequency that they can communicate at, what the lowest frequency is. Actually, I just thought about that right now. I'm going to find out. I like the way that sound plays a role in the bush. From a technical perspective, you know, who communicates at what level, who can hear all those things. If something has the ability to communicate at a low frequency, they need to be able to also hear that low frequency, you know. So how does the physics of sound and the biology of those receivers, ears, or the producers, the throat or the vocal folds, how does it affect one another? I love that kind of thing. And the other thing that I really enjoy is light, how light works. And something that I think about when I see giraffes, and I think about them communicating infrasonically, I wonder if elephants ever pick up on those random giraffe waves every now and then. Not that they would be able to understand them, but it might come through as, you know, some kind of noise. So that's why I want to know what giraffes, what frequency they communicate at. Yeah, the giraffes here at Oldonyo tend to be very brave. So I suspect there's people in that hide. And they've either caught whiff of them or they can see them, and it makes them hesitate. Because normally, I mean, all giraffes are super, super anxious. Lots of animals are very cautious, but giraffes are extra anxious at a waterhole. But at Oldonyo, they've kind of gotten over it. If there's other animals, they'll still be okay. But when there's people in the hide, they're always extra suspicious. Oh, Prairie Dog, you were saying, yay, zebra zoomies earlier at Tau. Zebra zoomies indeed. Well, maybe we'll be lucky enough to see some rhino zoomies on that HESC cam, Hoodspray Endangered Wildlife Center camera that we have there with those rhino. Maybe we'll see some rhino zoomies. So keep on watching the cameras, everyone. Keep an eye on that Rhino cam. Enjoy yourself. It's such a way to fill your heart and make you happy. But it's time for me to say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for your questions and comments. I'll see you all soon.